You know, when I was a little bit younger, I used to be a lot more injury prone than I am today. And part of the reason for that is because I didn't really take the time to look back on my injuries and really try to figure out what I was doing wrong, because I was doing a lot of things wrong. And I just had a really interesting conversation on the Strength Running podcast with Grayson Murphy. And Grayson highlighted something that's so important for injury-prone runners that I wish I knew way back when I first started running almost 25 years ago. She was talking about what she does as soon as she starts to feel like something is wrong. As soon as you start to feel a niggle, as soon as you start to feel a little bit of discomfort, the first thing that Grayson Murphy does is that she gets out her training log, her training journal, and she starts writing down what started to hurt, when it started to hurt, exactly how it hurts, the scale from 1 to 10 of the type of pain that she's experiencing. And Grayson Murphy is someone who, by the way, we should listen to. She is a mountain runner of the year. She's a multiple-time national champion in a lot of different ultra races. And Grayson's also very competent on the track. She's a steeplechaser, Olympic trials qualifier. And so Grayson is someone who, doesn't matter if you're on the road, if you're on the track, the trail, the mountain, Grayson is doing really well. And as one of the better runners in the entire world, I really look up to her ability to sort of look at her training and figure things out. Because for injury-prone runners, that's what we have to do all the time, figure our injuries out. And we don't always have the access to a good physical therapist or a physio who can really help us with this issue. Not to mention the fact that when you do go to a physical therapist, they are going to ask you questions about your injury. And the only way to know the answers to those questions is to use an analog training journal and actually write it down, to reflect on what's bothering you, so that when you do get asked all these questions, you know exactly what to say. You understand the contours of your niggle or injury so that you can reduce the time it takes to get healthy and start running again. I grew up on the track and on the cross-country course, and I know that a peak performance takes the right training. It also takes the right gear. Nobody's running a PR in cotton socks and basketball shoes. So if you are someone who's a performance-oriented runner, you need the right training and the right gear to help you express a peak performance. And that's why I'm thrilled to partner with Bombas Socks on our YouTube channel. Use the link in our description underneath this video and code STRENGTH20 to save 20% off your first order with Bombas Socks. If you're trying to run a PR, use a pair of Bombas socks. They are the most comfortable, high quality pair of socks that I've ever owned. And you're really gonna benefit from the high quality stitching and the real lack of prominent seams in their socks. So it's really gonna help you focus on your running, focus on the workout or the race that you're currently in, rather than on worrying about your socks and if they're up to the task. Plus, what I really love about Bombas is the fact that not only are these maybe the most comfortable performance-oriented socks that you've ever worn, but they're also the most charitable socks you might ever wear. For every pair that you order, they are gonna donate a pair to the needy. So use code STRENGTH20 at checkout with the link under this video in the description, and you're gonna save 20% on your first order at Bombas. Thank you, Bombas, for your support. I know I've been talking a little bit more about this very valuable act of reflection and how it can be really easy to do this with your training journal. And I think I really got started with this because, number one, I've got a whole pile of training journals dating back to 1998 on my desk, in the corner of my desk. But the other reason is because I just keep talking to so many of the world's best runners who agree that reflecting on your training and writing things down about it is so vitally important. And what I like to do for injuries, so if you're someone who does get injured frequently, you just consider yourself injury prone, one of the best things that you can do is you can start writing about the context in which your potential injury occurs. So maybe you are getting an Achilles tendinopathy injury. Maybe you're getting an IT band syndrome injury. Well, write down exactly the type of run of how it occurred. Are you someone who's typically getting injured when you run roads or when you run trails? Are you someone who's fine running a lot of mileage and great long runs, but you tend to get hurt when you run speed work? I want to know what shoes you're wearing when you get injured. I want to know the paces that you are running and the volume and pace and overall workload of your training for the week leading up to that injury. And so if you know this information, you are going to be much more ready to prevent injuries, to better treat your existing injuries, and you're just going to have better answers for those scenarios when you do need an expert opinion and you go see a physical therapist. They're going to ask you all kinds of things, and you can pull out your training journal and you can say, well, on January 1st, this issue started happening in my left foot along my arch right in the middle. It was when I was running uphill, and it started to actually feel better when I was running downhill, but on most of the uphill segments of my run, it did bother me. And I was wearing these low drop running shoes. All of a sudden now, you have a lot more information and you're gonna be able to better treat that injury so you can just start running healthy again. So my friends, if you are that runner who does get injured frequently, I hope this has been helpful in just giving you a new way to think about the injury treatment process. It begins with information and knowledge so that you can better treat any existing injury that you have. And a big thanks to Grayson Murphy for coming on the podcast recently and reminding me of this very important skill that we have to build as runners. Let's reflect a little bit more on our training, and I know that we are going to be less injury prone if we do. Yes, the structure of our training is important. Yes, all the recovery things that we can do to better adapt to our training are important. We've got to get our sleep. Yes, we've got to do our strength training. Yes, we've got to run appropriate workouts, and we also have to reflect on our training so that we understand what is leading us to either get hurt or to have those breakthrough performances.